All right, we're live. I put up the video this morning after I finished editing it. I had that same video planned since at least last Tuesday, but I just kept, having writer's block. That's a big problem with a lot of this stuff where I'll write out a big chunk of it and then toward the midsection or the latter part, I start to have issues with the writing of it. I remember yesterday when I was writing, I deleted a whole paragraph because like, I don't want to. This just restates certain stuff. Um, but yeah, it was nice to finally just put one of those out again because whenever you write something out and you just like struggle with it to actually finish it, it's nice to see it come to fruition. And so I felt a lot of times when I was doing episodes of my show where it's like you have to sit there and you got to draw all these pictures and you finally make it because you had the tenacity to just sit there and keep trying over and over. Man, Banana, I got to get in you. I saw your comment on that video and it made me laugh. Like, my thing is, the whole point of the video is to talk about how I believe there are multiple factors relating to that stuff. And then you say, in my opinion, I think you're really unlucky in this whole dating thing. I'm like, well, again, it's like you're just chalking it up to one reason. But if I were to concede the validity of that point, I would say then apparently a whole bunch of other men are as well. It's like I just sat here and explained all this different stuff that I think are factors, and like, no, you're just unlucky. That reminds me of that one time I was talking to this guy. He didn't like some movie, and he was trying to like say that one of the characters that appeared in it was not characterized well based on their previous appearances, and I was defending how the character acted. And it's like a lot of people when they disagree with someone, if they have a debate, will at least like defend their point or like react to what the person said by actually responding to what they said. Their response was, "No, it's just a bad movie." It was like, so what is the point of like actually sitting there? And this is why I said I don't have it within me to have a lot of these conversations about stuff anymore because people don't actually respond to what you're saying. They just like to breathe air or type something. Well, yeah, you're not the only one who is unlucky. Also, I agreed with you. Ugh. But I do believe that if you just say, "Oh, it's just bad luck," I don't see where that actually gets to the root of it because that came on from having multiple people in the course of one day try to like do the short-sighted, diagnosis where they just, "Oh, it's this one thing." Women were just given to men like cattle. And my favorite part of the video is where I said there was only one group of women in the United States ever enslaved, and they weren't white. Oh my god. And even their slavery ended 100 years before the time period she's talking about. The Emancipation Proclamation was like what, 1863, and she's going back to the 60s. So that's like a 90-year gap of just you know where slavery actually took place, like being given to men in that manner, and then when it's well over and done with, oh, they're still the property of men. They've only earned their right to reject in the last 30 years. Before that, everybody that asked a woman on a date, they always said yes. Of course, there are other factors. I said that purely based on the experiences you've shared. I just think something is wrong with them in general. Like to have somebody ask you on a date and then they start doing the backflipping. And I even had this one guy who was like, well, maybe she was joking. I was like, but then why would she give me her phone number and a picture of what she like it doesn't you see how everybody always has some explanation to try and like make sense of this, but then it still doesn't make sense with what the person did. It's like this woman was joking when she asked you on a date. That's why she gave you her real phone number and her real account with pictures of herself and sent you a real picture of herself. It's just oh, they always have an explanation every time. I see somebody in the comment section brought up that guy I'm so sick of hearing about. I'm contemplating whether I should delete that. I just don't think it's fair that like somebody comes to your stuff to promote someone who's even larger. Like why does he need a promotion on a smaller person's channel? And they always do that. Now my phone is acting buggy. Isn't that terrific? Yeah, apparently Aquaman 2 is supposed to start filming today. I don't know for sure. I saw that on WikiPiss they were saying that it was going to start on June 7th. There's still some stuff that I don't really understand with that movie. Like I don't know if they're going to bring back Defoe because we haven't heard a single thing about him being attached to reprise his role, and that's kind of disconcerting because he was one of my favorite parts of the first one. That was his first big role in the superhero film since the original Spider-Man. I don't get how that would even be funny. Haha, I'm stringing this guy along. It wouldn't be funny, and it also doesn't make sense with the facts of what she did. That's why I told you that a lot of people would drive themselves crazy trying to like explain or justify or like make sense of the stuff that chicks do. Like when you saw the broad who said that me calling chicks the B word supposedly is a factor, and I told her, well, this one I never said that around. Oh, women's intuition allows them to know when a man refers to women in that manner. Like, well, if women's intuition is so good, why do you have women who've married criminals without even knowing that they were, you know, like I gave the example of BTK. A guy kills, I think it's like 9, 10 people in Wichita, Kansas, and then his wife said she had no idea about it, which I believed because he fooled the entire city. But you know, it's just you see where it gets into like that nebulous crap that doesn't make any sense. So they always find little ways to explain away stuff. Women's intuition. Oh my god. Now I'm being told about how women are superheroes. They have spider sense. Although it's selective in when it works and how effective it is. Plus, men kill their wives also. Well, that's why I did the video, the stream rather, about Robert Fisher, a guy that was married for 10 years. And then after his wife said she was going to divorce him, he killed her and their 2 kids and then burned up the house and it blew up. And he's disappeared ever since. Never found him. But if you do the little women intuition thing that this lady was talking about, then we should get mad at the wife for not knowing 10 years earlier that he would eventually do that. They kill me with this stuff. But you know, that's how people are. They like to just make excuses and find ways out of actually analyzing things. It says the request time. I'm trying to see who this person is. It's always somebody you've never seen that acts that way. James, did you see the video? Have you? Did you watch it? I remember we had the running gag of how like, oh, I thought you said I didn't like. It. Like, oh wow. I was like, that's a night. And it's funny if you actually said that, and I'm like, I'm gonna ban you because I supposedly don't allow free speech. Even though there have been disagreements on here all the time, it's just if somebody's insulting you, I don't really see the point of having a conversation with that person. It was funny because like when I was doing the stream where the guy crashed it and wrote the 3 paragraphs, he said that I should talk about something else. And then when I responded to that this past stream, I did this like past Saturday, I said that one of the things that happens with people who say talk about something else, who claim they don't like talking about this, right, is that they'll actually disappear if you discuss something else. So that's how you know they're just like, liars, like, not actually here to support you in any way. Like if you talk about something they find interesting, they'll come and say talk about something else. Then if you talk about something else and they vanish, sure enough, the next video time we see them, it's on something about romance. There's always a dating app at the beginning of your video. Wow. I have no control over what advertisements are put on my stuff, so it's just like when people say you get more views on the romance something. I have no control over how many views I get. The only time you can control is when you go out and buy them. I'm trying to figure out who this guy is. It says the request timed out. Wow, 2 comments in, what is that, a month? That's terrible. Like the first comment was good, the second one was I don't get the free advertising. This is why you like that other guy, go watch him. I'm good as a social experiment, just go to like different people's channels and bring up somebody else that talks about the same thing. Go to the Young Turks channel. This is why I like Kyle Kalinske. It's like, okay, we understand. So that'll be different because they actually have had him on there before, so they've promoted him themselves. No, that's why I said that like at a certain point, all those bigger people get larger and larger because people bring them up everywhere to work. Like those who have never heard of them, like who's that? And then they'll look them up. But with me, you never get promoted. You don't like see your videos getting shared all over the place. People come to you to promote somebody else. No, that's crazy. Oh yeah, I was talking to my best friend about this topic because that was when I had most of the script written on Friday. And I asked him, ask your grandmother if she married your grandpa because she was forced or if she actually liked him. Because we're trying to bounce back against what that broad said. Women have only now gained the ability to have the right to reject. Oh man, that was awful. Say the most ridiculous stuff for like no reason. Just again, I don't know who that helps. Like, okay, the patriarchy existed. Now I'm supposed to pay for it. I did like the part about the equality myth because I was actually gonna do a another video about those like the never ending accidental pregnancies. That was something we discussed last Saturday. Um, and one of the things that was going to be talked about is how you have a lot of chicks who will say they don't need a man to take care of their kid or something to that effect. But with a lot of these single mothers, I've seen them complain about how the man isn't doing this, he's not doing, and it's like, well, you're supposed to be, independent, right? So why are you so upset that he won't assist? So that just goes in hand with the ridiculousness of what they like to say. It just shows how like they'll say one thing, but then the opposite is true. Man, this Wi-Fi is so goofy. That part of me almost was worried that the chat disconnected. It would tell me if it disconnected though, so maybe people just aren't typing anything. Oh yeah, it didn't disconnect. You were right. Even the guys that are going through the same situation will put you down also. Well, it's weird because some of them will do the thing of, oh man, it's normal, just get rejected. You just gotta move on, you just gotta move on. And then other ones will go, well, there's something wrong with you because you got rejected. So you really can't, you have the ones who will like falsely identify with what's happened to you before they start peddling the self-improvement, jump through a million hoops mantra, or you have ones that will try to trash talk you as if you're like the first person or the only person that chicks have done this to. So you really just have to pick your poison. It's really insane. They always promote somebody else. I do agree with Brandon said the advice sounds great on paper, but the results aren't a guarantee. I don't know who this person is. Oh, this is that same guy that James asked if he thought the guy that wears the suit was Jesus of romance, and he said yes. So I'm not gonna read what you write. We're gonna just go scroll up. We don't need to see that anymore. Hey James, they really turned that guy into the main character of this topic. Like it was about two or three different streams he would get. I was like, who the hell is that? And then I do a video where he and in the comment section somebody mentions him. Like, can you stop? Yeah, he really said that. Well, go watch Romance Jesus. Don't watch me. If that's your Lord and Savior and he bears the cross, go ahead. He doesn't need to be promoted over here. No, they're really nuts about that guy. I'm so sick of hearing about him. Even my best friend knew who that was, and that's where it got disturbing because he doesn't pay attention to any of this like stuff on the computer, but he knew who that was. It's like they can just go around promoting this person like crazy. Like he puts women in check. Like, but I already know they're ridiculous. Why do I need to watch somebody confront them over something that I already know? Like that's why I don't do a call-in show because I people already know they do dumb stuff. We don't need to sit here and watch somebody spin themselves in the pretzels trying to defend ridiculous behavior. No, just something is up with these people. James, you better not do another video or else I'm gonna come over there talking about some other artist. Like you do a video where it's music in there and I'm like, this reminds me of Dr. Dre's album. You should go check it out. Like, why do I need to hear about another musician? Can you just compliment what I have or say why you like it? No, okay. All that free advertising. I think at one point WWE was doing during the pandemic. They had these people on streams where they were all watching it with their camera, and I thought it would be funny if I ever was like in the audience and I just had like my name on like a little cue card, like subscribe to, and then you see the channel on there. No, this is why like you'll if you are a smaller channel, you'll never see yourself get bigger because these other people will come to your stuff to get support for a bigger person. That is nuts. Over here trying to make a romance cinematic universe. Yeah, get that free promo. Yeah. I'm serious. I'd never heard because I don't. That's why I said it's like really disturbing because this means that all they do is just go to different people talking about this. Oh my god. Gotta love these billboards having being posted on smaller channels for other big channels. Yeah. Imagine if James had 10,000 subs and somebody comes in the comment section. If you like what Justin said, you gotta watch James, man. He did it, but he's why does a person who's 5 times bigger than the other person need to be promoted on there? Oh my god! And then it's like, why does someone who talks about this need to watch another person who talks about it? Yeah, I really liked your comment, Megumi. That's why I started doing it in the first place because I didn't really see people addressing. Like I saw people talking about dumb stuff chicks do, but not addressing getting like rejected over and over again, like to the point where they'll actually lead you on for like really long stretches of time, and then you're not supposed to get pissed or get sick of it. So just perpetually go in the same cycle. While you have these chicks who've never been turned down a day in their lives telling you about how, oh, it's gonna get better if you just wait. You know, just that's why I liked it because it was indicative of the fact that I don't really with these other people, if they do talk about getting rejected, it's one video. And it's usually like, oh, I've never been with someone or something like that. So it was a nice comment. I do intend to do one on that what is it, the continuous accidental pregnancies. I'll do one on that too. We got a whole bunch of material to work with for that one. Yeah, I had to address that in my comment. But people oversimplify this topic so much. This person is too ugly. This person looks like this. This person probably is lacking confidence. All this just they pull up every little trait they can think of. I know your personality from watching this video, even though people have a thing called a public persona where they act differently online than they act in real life. My God. Dude, everybody online is a psychiatrist slash expert on someone else's personality or love life. It's really incredible. I tell you that like one of the biggest ironies is them talking about chicks being out of your league, but then they're like telling you lack confidence. Like, so if you lack confidence, why are you approaching women that are supposedly out of your league? Wouldn't that show that you believe in yourself to approach someone who's of a alleged higher? And I never believed in that anyway because I never tell someone that I'm friendly with, or even someone I don't like, that a woman they're interested in is out of their league because that's not my decision to make. I see all kind of men date chicks nobody ever heard of, and nobody says he's out of her league. It never happens. I'm hoping what's his name doesn't appear in here. The romance aficionado. He left some enormous comment in the video. I read like the first sentence, and I just kept scrolling. When you hold this up to scrutiny, you know it doesn't make sense. Told you with that one that asked me on a date, I actually had somebody go, maybe she was just joking. It's like her way of joking about wanting to go on a date with me is to give me her real phone number, her real picture, and her real account, that has like her real name and all. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh my god! And to sit there and talk to you for hours on the phone, like it doesn't. Oh my god! But if I say chicks are mentally ill because they'll do all that stuff to lead somebody on just to not deliver, you're told that you're so mean. They'll make up any excuse. It's always there's always some justification for why they do what they do. By the way, that same woman on Monday, um, I mentioned on the World Without Heroes 2 stream how there was a guy that said I was mediocre because I was single, and I was like using it as an example to talk about how people will speak disparagingly of you, but then when you respond to them with the same venom, you're told about how mean you are. And she's like, "Well, I don't think you should hold on to something from last November." I'm like, "You're the same person who's trying to." Because before this, we had an argument. I hate talking to people in text because they always are like cherry picking what pieces of your stuff to respond to. But it's like you're the same person who's telling me that I'm supposedly not getting over something from last November is the same person who's trying to smear me and talk trash about me over things from last April. See what I'm saying? The biggest hypocrites in the world. I did notice that goofy comment, unfortunately, too. Oh, there's always at least one of those. Like on the one before this, there was that woman that wrote some stupid stuff, which she could have a whole video made about her and her backflipping. Like I don't know what she was doing. I was like, why are you here? And then there was some other guy who was like, have you ever thought that it was something with you? I was like, yeah. Every video, there's all, and then let's not forget when the one guy wrote the 5 paragraphs. Oh my god! And they get so mad when you mention what they did. They're like, "You need to get over this." Like, you don't get to write all that stuff about me, and I'm supposed to. There's supposed to be a time limit on how long it can be brought up or addressed. We can spit venom at you, but you can't spit any back at us. It's forbidden. Yeah, well, that's why I said a lot of people want to like say whatever they want to you, the free speech thing, but they also want to control how you respond to them. So a person that writes 5 paragraphs about me is upset that I'll address what he says, not in comments written back to him, but during a stream or a video. Because again, he wants to say whatever he wants, any type of way he wants, but he also wants to control how you respond to it. They always have they're very selective with their with their angles of free speech. I remember when a joke when a joke required effort, not just doing cruel or ridiculous stuff and posting and post HOC justifying it with it's just a prank. Yeah. Well, a lot of modern comedy isn't really that funny. Like, it's people trying to get a quick reaction of someone. We have a lot of would-be comedians online. But like the ones that were trying to compare me to various domestic villains in the US. I was like, wow. But like I said, when they do that stuff and then they're confused as to why you call them villains, it's really comedic. Yeah, they can say whatever they want to you, but you're supposed to, be censored. I'm telling you, if you watch a lot of that early romance stuff, I didn't call anybody out of their name other than to not say who they actually were. And like, I was so nice. And then I saw all that gross stuff written me. I was like, yeah, this is not cool. Like a lot of the comments are used from the video with the 200,000 views. You can go watch that and see me not call a single woman out of their name and just talk in this very calm manner. And it's like all this gross stuff was written to that. Because there are a lot of people who just don't want someone to discuss this. They want you to just suffer in silence. A lot of comedy nowadays is gaslighting. They do something they know will get a negative reaction from people and then tell them they can't take a joke. Yeah. Well, it's just shock value. I think a lot of comedians just do stuff to try and make themselves famous for, like, get their name in a headline. Yeah, I hate passive aggressiveness. That's how a lot of the comments on here come off, where they're like, "Well, you lack introspection." Like, okay, you're not directly insulting me, but you're still accusing me of having some trait that you find undesirable on the basis of me doing a video you didn't like. It never stops. No, this one guy actually said I have a higher chance of getting a date than a woman does of getting married. It's like that's kind of part of me almost agrees with that because like I can pay a hooker to go on a date, if I go to Vegas. Uh but these chicks, they pop out all these different kids with these men and like none of them, as far as I've seen in real life, ever put a ring on their finger. They just either go to a different man or have some on and off thing with the guy. It's really crazy. And personally, I've never seen that. Like the reason I brought up the chick on Saturday was because I've seen people who have kids with like multiple people before. That's not new, but I've never seen someone have two children with two different men that they weren't married to either in either instance, right? In like a really like a less than 10-year time period. And that's why I said that there are a lot of chicks who will have one kid by accident and then that's it. Like they never do it again. They learn their lesson. But she just repeated the same mistake a couple of years later. I thought that was really crazy. I was like, wow, this cycle never really breaks itself, even among the people who, apparently are affected by it. Yeah, you were very civilized in addressing your points. All of a sudden you get this enormous amount of antagonism, hostility just from one video. Yeah. And like I said, when you see those types of comments, which I've shown proof of them, even though the comment section's turned off, what reason would you have to still come on here and act nice? You can't keep beating somebody over the head and then they're supposed to just not, or you want to then say, you're supposed to act nice to us as we disparage you. Yeah, nothing original, just comparing people to other people or groups. Now you're either, when you're, oh, well, I don't want to mention any of those people. Joe deleted his comment. He threw it in the trash. No, that chick stuff with the kids is really frustrating because, like, and I'll make this point in the video, they have so many men they have options of. Like, I talked about how men will have to, like, settle for whatever comes their way because they get starved of romantic attention from abroad, but they have all these different guys to pick from, usually, at least several, and I'm supposed to believe that no man that they were interested in, out of all the ones that tried to talk to them, ever wanted to have a family. They always just were unwilling to do that. And you can find videos on this website of people admitting they don't like using condoms because they don't like the way it feels. They'll play Russian roulette with their lives over not wanting to wear some rubber. Since when a name became a verb is Karen something people do now. Yeah, that's another stupid like modern thing people I don't know why they do that. I don't use it. I think it's dumb, but whatever. Just another term people like to throw around and kind of justify for, like, they use it for whatever reason they want. That's like the new I word, where it's like a term that doesn't really mean anything and everybody has their own definition of it. So that's how I would describe it. But yeah, in that video, I could take the moral high ground. I'm like, I don't have any kids that can't afford to go to school because I decided to not save up for them. Or try group dating, more casual, less, yeah. That's just like that one guy that was like, you should talk to women in real life. Like, I already did that. Same result. Or a word to just insult someone with, yeah. It's like they really took somebody's name and now they call like random chicks that name whenever they do something they don't like. So I said I think it's dumb. But that Robert Fisher case was so disturbing. Like someone just lives as a normal person with a family for 10 years. And then when their wife says, I'm divorcing you, they just lose their mind and do all this crazy. And it's like, I hate it when like when that women intuition thing really annoyed me because that's a case where I'm sympathetic toward the wife because I don't think you should die because you don't want to be with someone anymore. But it's like if you go off of her, we were talking to V about disturbing implications. The implication of what she said is that this woman was supposed to know her husband, who never killed anybody before, apparently, was just going to snap and lose his mind at her wanting to leave him. Yeah, that really didn't make sense at all. Women intuition. Told you they make them sound like they have superpowers on here. I use my foresight to know this man would not be a match for me. It's like, what? Oh my god. A lot of them do that where they're like, I thought about this and I don't think we would work out, even though I have no reason to believe this because we've never on a date and never even tried, but I know it wouldn't work out. Because we saw the one that told me I was too good for her to do that. So they love using their intuition in ways where it like screws you over. So I had this one broad. I did a video about it. She was like, I don't want to be in a like she apologized for not speaking to me when I would like message her. And then she messaged me back, was like, I'm going to try and make an effort. And then one day she's like, I've just come out of meditation and some other thing. And I've realized I don't want a relationship or a pre-relationship with you. I was like, what the hell? Like to this day, I don't know what a pre-relationship is. You either have a relationship with someone, be it platonic or romantic, or you don't. But she used her little psychological babble to justify telling a man who she committed to speaking to more to go kick rocks. And my last message to her after she said, I wish you the best was, I wish you nothing but the worst. Because I'm a sore loser. You're going to sit here and waste my time for 2 months. I'm supposed to act nice. If you don't believe I said that, I still have the screenshot of it. I don't know who wouldn't be pissed off in a scenario like that where somebody commits to talk to you more after they're like not responding to what you're saying. And then they have some weird thing where they go and talk about meditation and they don't actually end up doing what they said they would do. and just say the hell with it and don't even bother addressing, like actually trying to make an effort. They're like, hey, I know you were really trying, but I don't care. Goodbye. Women intuition. We all have intuition. What's the difference? Yeah, I don't know. And that was a joke I had. It's like, how many of these chicks are actually straight? Like, when you do videos on romance about like how hard it is to get with a woman, and then it's men like talking about your appearance and saying all this like nasty stuff about you and writing paragraphs about you, like how many of these men are actually straight? If you go on Twitter, I kid you not, you can find people like they don't show pictures, but they say they're chicks. I'll take them at their word. Who are like lusting after other broads. Oh my god, she's so sexy. She's so beautiful. I've met like three or four. Dude, I met one broad who's underage who said she wanted to get with this actress that's like 30 or something. Like, you just said you were straight, and now you're lusting after another, whatever. I don't know what they are. Hey, that would be ironic though that the reason men can't get a date is because all the chicks are gay. You get why that's ironic? Because like they try to accuse men that are single of being gay, but then it's actually the broads that are that way. I do remember you mentioning that in one of your videos. I certainly wouldn't react would react similar to how you did if that happened to me. It's like you really sit here and you try to message this person, they commit to speaking to you more, and all of a sudden they go to meditation and they don't want a relationship or a pre-relationship with you, and you're not supposed to get pissed. No, theory, a lot of chicks are like suspect, to put it that way. Like just in being on social media and just observing them, a lot of them are just the way they talk about women, like other women, is really it has some implications. June is Pride Month, and it's mostly black men getting set up by thinking if she's a woman on Tinder. Oh, I used Tinder for like 2 weeks and stuff. Yeah, I'm not a fan of most of those dating websites or dating apps or whatever. It's funny to watch people go like, women don't care about looks and they want a man that they can feel resonance with. And then they go on a website like Tinder where all people do is assess someone as being attractive on the basis of what they look like. I just thought that was like really ironic. Like, appearance is not the main thing that attracts me, but I'm on this website where that's literally the main appeal of swiping left or right on somebody. No, the worst ones are those dating sites. They try to get you to pay for something. Like, I'm supposed to sit here and pay you guys some money so I can talk to chicks who are either not going to message me back after, like abruptly or at all. Or if they do agree to go on a date, it's going to be some BS like we saw last month. Like there is no reason why these apps should exist because no one does anything. Yeah, like dude, my best friend told me he would just keep swiping right, showing interest in all these chicks, and then like only ever heard back from one. It was the same thing when I was on there. I was like, okay, I just swiped right. So are we gonna actually see somebody say something back? That's why I said it's just a waste of time. Like I don't get why people put themselves through all this stuff for a bunch of broads that don't even care about them. I know, right? Paying to create an account and talk to chicks, I'm good, thanks. Well, like I said, when you pay to get with a hooker, even if it's just to go on a date, at least that's a tangible thing you're getting. When you paid a website to surround yourself with a bunch of broads, you have no expectation that it's actually going to legitimately turn into something that you want. So I said there's too many risk involved, and like you're paying these prices either with time or with money, and it doesn't seem like it's worth it to me. I'm gonna sign up to this website so somebody can not show interest in me. I can get that for free already. No, I really did want to do a video about like the like many options that chicks have, where it's like 50 guys talking to one woman, where they all come on her profile. Oh my God, you're so beautiful. Like she hasn't heard that a billion times. I swear these websites really just they make people go insane. Like I remember the one broad that let me see what this guy wrote. Swipe left or right. That's like saying take the oh, here we go with those again. Of course, there are these corporations and companies making money off guys' misfortune too, especially when it requires paid subscriptions, all the scam. Yeah, I'm not going to sign up for a website to get the same result I can get for free. Everybody loves talking about stuff that has nothing to do with me. I don't talk about pills. Just like I remember I told you, I don't understand why people will sign up to a woman's OnlyFans when you can literally go and look at naked pictures of broads for free. Like, I've never understood stuff like that. Well, someone had to mention it. Yeah, every time it's look every stream, it's some other romance um, term that I don't use. So like pills or chat or any of that stuff gets mentioned, and then some other commentator who I never talk about gets mentioned. Like those two things usually happen each stream, and now we've seen both of them. Well, we saw one of them on a video earlier, so they'll just keep occurring because that's how they roll. They always have to bring somebody else up. That really is kind of like that dawned on me after a while. They really just scour the internet looking for every video that somebody makes about this. Like I still can't go over the broad that came to James's video talking about her great guy that she was. I'm like, why are you watching a video? If you're with a great guy, why are you watching a video about a man who can't get with a woman? Like it doesn't make any sense. Oh my god. Expect to hear all the color and yeah, all their terms just get and like I said, I don't really see what the point of mentioning that stuff is because you know, whatever. They'll bring up all that crap. They love to mention terms that aren't being used. The OnlyFans website is going to get someone 16-year-old daughter on there, and it's gonna be all over the news. Well, I talked about the woman who faked her death and came on that website, but I don't want to give her any more publicity. That was just a really scummy thing to do. Just from the standpoint of you have these people who support you, even after you die, they want to pay for your funeral, and then you come online after having done that and reveal that they all paid for no reason, that it was just this big hoax. Told you it's like a comic book, this romance stuff, because what they have in comics, resurrections, fake character deaths, where a character will come back from the death from being actually dead, and they'll be like, "Oh, I tricked you into thinking I was deceased." That's what she did. It was a really scummy thing to do. No, only scam should be their name. It's that website and TikTok that I'm just like, why do they exist? Like, what purpose? Oh yeah, WikiPiss still begs people for money. And if you message a woman on Piscord and they think you're a guy, that you're trying to get married to them, you get banned. That's the only website I've ever seen where just saying hello to someone, if you're like thought of as being a male, is like tantamount to trying to like. It's the most backwards stuff ever. I heard they were shutting down that site. Oh, I don't believe that. If MySpace is still around, that thing's gonna be around for a long time. Yeah, I'll believe that when I see it. Dude, WikiPiss is like literally the website equivalent of getting with the woman that you always do stuff for, and they just can never say thank you or be appreciative at all. Like when you really think about it, that website wants people to edit on there and then like be talked about nasty and have all this gross stuff written about you, but then you're supposed to just keep coming back. Dude, editing on that website is like being in an abusive relationship. Chick Rock always shows alpha males making out with the hot chicks. I mean, good for them. Yeah, they can have that. I'm just trying to figure out why these hot chicks can't get somebody to marry them. I'd love for an explanation on that. Oh, you know what sucks? That guy that was on the stream, like, okay, it was about 2 weeks ago. My brother was doing the stream with me where he was like, I think you have a personality issue or something. It was either him or somebody else where they were like, uh, celebrities have better relationships or the best version of yourself has best some kind of scam crap. But I was like, I really went around looking, and there are so many famous people that have been married like multiple times. It's not even like a thing of, oh, this person's wife died and then they went and tried to find somebody else out. It's literally marry this person for a couple of years, leave them, marry this person for a couple of years, leave them, marry this person for a couple of years, leave them. Like it's crazy how there's like a whole bunch of celebrities that have done that. Because on the stream where that guy said that, the only one I mentioned was Kim, who's been married 3 times, and each time it's like less than 7 years. Where she's in one case, one guy she was married to for less than a year. But like there are other people with that same thing where they're married for a little bit to somebody, and then they get rid of them, and they marry somebody else, and like it just keeps repeating. Oh my god! Like one of my favorite wrestlers, Stone Cold, he's been married 4 times. And every time it's like at maximum of him being with that person, like the current wife he's been with for 12 years, but all the other ones were for less than that. And I was like, what the hell? But look, I don't bring that, him up to like mock that fact. It's just weird that like people associate when you tell somebody to become successful and you try to swear to them that being successful automatically translates to better romantic relationships. And we can prove that people who are very successful still have trouble keeping a partner or having a stable relationship, then you know it's BS. Man, celebrities are right. I no Grand Zeal. I'm not contesting otherwise. I'm saying that this guy tried to tell me that they have great relationships. They don't. Yeah, that was like the joke of the century. It seems as though celebrities have the worst relationships, but think that's due to because okay, no, James, come on. There are celebrities that have actually been married for a long time and have one like that exists. I'm saying that if someone's going to tell you that success automatically translates, if you're a man, to having better romantic relationships, they're lying to you. being in the limelight. Just become famous and a woman will go on a date with you and you'll live happily ever after, except all the times that didn't happen. We have plenty of other celebrity relationship track records that prove otherwise. Yeah, and like I said, man, this kind of stuff goes with the dehuman because a lot of people tend to forget that celebrities are just people. Like they're that being famous does not make them gods among men, even if they have some talent that you might consider to be really good. So when you say that because someone's famous, it makes them susceptible to having these great, amazing, fulfilling romances. You're trying to put them on a pedestal that one is not deserved and two is not accurate. I don't know, but what that guy said is not true. Right. But I'm saying that, like, it's really disturbing that he would actually say something like that when we can, like, look in the real world. And that's why I told you that a lot of these people talk to you like you're a little kid. Like, you just believe, you're supposed to believe whatever they say. When you can go in the real world and find examples of this stuff not turning out the way people wanted it to, then you know it's like BS that when they say that, oh yeah, this doing this will make it to where women will like you, yeah, and you'll live happily ever after. I can't believe I didn't mention that on that stream that he was married 4 times. And that's one of the most famous wrestlers ever. It's him, Hogan, Cena, The Undertaker, Ric Flair. Like those are among the most famous wrestlers of all time. Certainly of the, like in the current, like last 30, 40 years. So this isn't just some random wrestler. This is one of the ones at the very top, and still has to like keep looking for different wives every couple of years. The insta fixes need to stop. Yeah, I just moved to ATL, and women don't seem scared to me and still doing the same indirect actions. Oh, don't start with the get your passport and travel the world thing because that's another lie. Just go to this country and women will actually like you and not waste your time, even though they've done that before. And we'll do that to people until the end of time. Hey, you know what? Trying like that for that excessive time wasting part of the video, I was gonna make this comparison. I couldn't figure out a way to word it. Um, so for the Wonder Woman movie, it took 21 years to make that. They wrote the first script in '96. The movie didn't come out until 2017 because they would keep writing scripts that somebody didn't like. They would throw it out, then they would get a new director. Then that director would get disinterested. Then they would go and get another script somebody didn't like. Would just keep going back and forth, right? Trying to get a woman who talks to you and says all this stuff, oh, you mean so much to me, and blah, 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 to go on a date is literally like when trying to make that movie, like a movie being in development hell. Like you have to just keep recycling the same story beats of you start speaking to this person, they say all this stuff that makes it sound like they're interested. You ask them on a date, they say no. And then it just keep the cycle just repeats itself over. And then with women, because men don't do this to chicks, they'll talk to some man and he'll ask them on a date, or she'll maybe do it, and then he'll say he's interested, and then she'll say she's interested, and then that's it. She doesn't have to just keep doing this with a bunch of different. But that's why I said that people put this like real emphasis on chicks, like make them out to be these great things in general, and they're not. They don't. The only reason they have a whole bunch of men swarming them is because chicks don't approach men to begin with. And that was the point I made when I had the broad talking about at some point you'll see a different woman of that's more on your wavelength. It was like chicks don't approach men hardly ever, including the ones they think look good because they're cowards. At least most of them are, and then even the ones that'll approach you will still end up doing the same stupid stuff. So that's the only reason chicks have all these men trying to talk to me. If chicks approached men as often as men approach chicks, you would actually start seeing some fairness, just a semblance of it. I hear in third world countries, if a man tried to take their woman, he'll get his head cut off. Yeah. Well, the hell, the way that Broad talked on Monday, you would think the U.S. was Saudi Arabia. Women were just given to men like cattle. I'm like, what? I should have asked her, was your mom given to your dad? She didn't like him for who he was. I'm gonna ask that next time. Oh my God, what is wrong with people? The equality myth. Things are more fair. That's why men are told to self-improve for women that don't have to do a single thing other than exist. Things are more fair. That's why men have to always start a dialogue with the broad while the women just get to sit there and never initiate anything themselves. Now, I couldn't get over where James said it's not your fault or the woman's fault, because that's literally what Bird Brain said 3 years ago. And then, like I even showed the screenshot of it in the video I did talking. I think it was called the Romance Curse or something, where he said it's not your fault or the woman's fault she's not interested in you. But then, like a week later, it's your fault that the woman's not interested in you. Like you don't take responsibility for your failure to attract. It's like, so wait a second, you just went from saying it's neither person's fault to now trying to crucify me because random chicks don't like me. And like I said, man, if I came on here and showed you screenshots of all these different chicks I had rejected, people would blame me. Megumi, do you think if I made a video where I showed screenshots of women asking me on dates and I said, I'm not interested in you, people wouldn't blame me for why it didn't go anywhere? They would say, oh, it's okay. It's not your fault that you weren't interested in them. You know, it's not your fault that you're single. Those women just didn't appeal to you. You think they would do that? No. They would say, you're too picky, too damn selective. That's why you're single. Maybe that's what you need to do. Show the screenshot. I already do. The only person showing any proof is yours truly. Everybody else just type stuff. They just write all these comments. Yeah, now on YouTube, all people do is talk about, oh, there's a new Dragon Ball movie coming. There's a new Dragon Ball movie coming. I saw one guy say the whole movie is going to be in CGI, and I'm just like, just shaking my head so much. People get excited over anything. Like for that Kakarot game, they were getting excited for DLC, stuff that should have been in the game to begin with. That's always going to be what I hate about modern games and why I don't bother with them. They want you to pay all this extra money for stuff that they should have had in the game to begin with. Let's make a Final Fantasy VII remake that isn't the whole game. Then it's not a remake. I don't know what that is. Yeah, but if it were reversed, the chick would get nothing but sympathy. Well, see, that's why I said when people tell you don't blame the chicks, I don't agree with that position because I know that if things were reversed, they would blame me for, like doing the same thing. That's why I said in the video, they can find you guilty in the same situation where they would find a woman innocent. So I think if one side gets criticized for something, the other should as well. You never It's like, I don't need to. You guys already did that. When you tell somebody they're a piece of garbage because they're single, that person doesn't need to sit there and trash talk themselves and do your job for you. Far too one-sided. That's disturbing. Yeah. That's why I said I could get stabbed by a woman. They'd be like, well, you probably looked at her the wrong way. And she probably was feeling bad. And you probably, I guarantee you they would do that. Because if people can defend one of them asking me on a date and then doing the like backflip and stuff along with another one who says, you're too good for me. And then when you show interest, she's like, I don't think this will work. They can defend anything. No, they're really nuts like that. I don't buy video games anymore. I don't support getting ripped off and developers getting next to nothing. Yeah, it's a complete rip off. $60 for like non-complete games. Like, and then remember, if you get Xbox Live or PSN, I know for Xbox Live you have to pay for it, but it's the DLC, all this other stuff. I get tired of it. Like with Xenoverse 2, it's like this game's been out for 4 years, for 5 years now, and it's still getting DLC. Just make a third one. And it would have been way cooler if they did DLC for like maybe 1 year after the game came out and then save all that stuff for a third one. If they did that, where they took most of the DLC and reserved it for a third game, it would blow fighters out the water. Nobody would even be talking about that thing. Could you imagine, like, the last game had 70 characters. This one has 120. Oh my God. I already did a video about why that stuff is ridiculous. You like characters that play the same. Dude, they've been singing that song since the first Xenoverse came out. Well, you're complaining about characters not being there that nobody was playing as anyways. Like, well, I don't really play as Frieza, but if they didn't put him in the game, I'd still be annoyed because there are people that play as that character. It's just, it's like the point was the option. And, I like how in the video I mentioned that when you have different play styles, just because it's different doesn't mean it's better. And now people are less incentivized to play as characters that they like because you made them suck by playing differently than the ones that are good. At this point, most of these modern games just consist of DLC making up to 80%. Yeah, Megumi, like, look at Xenoverse 2. That game's added like 30 characters from DLC alone. All these different maps, and I'm like, if they made a third game with all that content, I would love it. But having to pay for half the game on the computer or on some other service that's not just buying the game, it's ridiculous. When people try downloading on their PS4, it always goes, oh, of course. YOLO, modern consoles are the undisputed champion of glitches. Remember the Ring of Death on the Xbox 360? The red ring? It was funny because I didn't get one of those until about a year or two after the console came out, and I never had one. Like the whole time I would play on Xbox 360, never had one. And that's why it was like people just, my Xbox 360's got the red ring. Oh, I don't know why. You got one of the early defective models. Yeah, I used to love Budokai Tenkaichi 3. That was my favorite game when I was I wouldn't say my favorite game of all time, but it was definitely my favorite Dragon Ball game when it was when it came out. And that's probably the only one of those I played over and over because it just had so many characters and different stages and stuff. And then after that, they just started making the rosters smaller and smaller and smaller. This game is a toy box. Like I'd rather have a toy box than a bunch of characters that nobody wants to play as because they suck compared to Bardock or Yamcha or whoever else is considered high tier. I've always had a love-hate relationship with Dragon Ball. I love the original in Z. I'm neutral on GT, and I'm not a fan of Super. So the love-hate relationship only extends after Z. I remember they had this one GT game on the Game Boy, and it ends with it's the ending is like the start of the Super 17 saga. And I remember thinking, oh, we're gonna get a sequel that's gonna do the rest of GT, and then they never made it. Now, the only arc of Super I would rewatch, unless I'm doing like a review and I'm like forced to watch that nonsense, would be the Tournament of Power. All the other arcs, you can take them, throw them in the trash. Like, there's a couple episodes of the Goku Black stuff that's okay, like the start of it, but then it just like segues into ridiculousness in that latter half. I'll always love GT. Don't care about the hate it gets. Well, I'm not trying to change your mind about it. In fact, I wouldn't even mention it right here if Envoy didn't say that he has a love-hate relationship with Dragon Ball. Hell, that was one of the criticisms I had of the games. They barely had any GT content. Like, you can't. We never get a game where there's a character from GT that's not a Super Saiyan 4 or one of the villains in it anymore, other than Xenoverse 2. This is here. No. Yeah, I don't usually say nasty stuff about that show. LOL Megumi GT was all over the place. No, I was just talking about the games because I'm tired of watching people pretend that Fighters is the greatest thing that ever happened. Like, some of the praise that game gets is almost otherworldly. It's really crazy. And it's like I've never seen a game get praised for having characters that are worse than other ones. I did like the Shenron arc though. Yeah, but my problem with that is that they didn't use like, you have all these different dragons who are based off of wishes that have been used throughout the entire franchise, and you're gonna just you keep using the same two characters to fight all of them until the last one. It's modern that it requires updates every few months when old consoles I can just boot up and play no problem. Well, that's one of the things I don't like about DLC that like 10 years ago when a company put out a game, that was it. You know, forget trying to improve it down the line. Down the line was before the game came out. You made sure it worked. You made sure it had a bunch of content. There was no DLC for Budokai Tenkaichi 3 because they were confident of what they made. But with Fighters, I mentioned before, half of that game's roster now comes from DLC. And it's like, if it takes another 2 or 3 years to make a roster that's twice as big as the crap you put out, then just wait 2 or 3 years. But see, they rush these games out because they have to keep the license and because they know that people will buy them in whatever. Like, that game could have came out with 10 characters. People like, oh, I got to pick this up. Man, Fighters base roster was so garbage. It was like, are you serious? And it's like, imagine having to pay to play as like a form of Goku. They do it on purpose so they can make you spend more money. Spend more money and because they know that you'll put up with, like, you'll buy anything that they put out. My favorite is Dragon Ball Z Budokai and Budokai 3. It makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I didn't own Budokai, so the non Tenkaichi ones. I know the one you're talking about where they're like standing like that. I had a friend who used to own those. I would go over to his house and play them. And yeah, exactly. That's why they have a beta version of the game and then the first version when it's publicly released. But like I said, all they had to do, because when they put out DLC within 2 or 3 years of the game coming out, that means we now have a time frame for how long it takes them to make that additional content. So if they can put out a game with 40 characters 2 years later, instead of releasing the game 2 years earlier with half of that, they should just wait 2 years. How many forms of Goku do they have now in that game? I didn't have to look on my phone. They have Super Saiyan Goku, Blue Goku, regular adult Goku, GT Goku, um, Ultra Instinct Goku. That's at least five. Do they have Super Saiyan 3? I hope they don't, because then that's the sixth one. And that's what really pissed me off about that game's roster. It's like you have all these different characters in this series, and you're just going to keep giving me more and more forms of the same. Goku, the main character. Oh my God. I remember when Budokai Tenkaichi used to get criticized for having multiple forms of Goku, even though they all had different like move sets, which is why they made multiple forms of them. It's like now they'll literally do the exact same thing, and people will defend that game until Kingdom Come. Let's see. Adult Goku, Super Saiyan Goku, GT. I'm not going to count Goku Black because that's a different character. Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku. Who else is here? GT Goku. Oh yeah, five of them. You have five Gokus in the game with 43 characters. And this is what I think is stupid. It's like you'll give me a GT Goku, but it's the kid version and not Super Saiyan 4. Literally the most iconic thing from that series. Really? That's why I said I'm so done with these people. You can have Gogeta Super Saiyan 4, even though he's only in like one episode of the whole show, not the actual Super Saiyan 4 that was shown throughout the whole series. Yeah. People really don't think that's backwards. We get Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but not Super Saiyan 4 Goku. All right. Oh my God. And then they have the nerve to stick, Super Baby in there, but I can't even have him fight. Whatever. I'm so done with these people. Imagine if they had a Dragon Ball game where you can only play as base form Goku and they have Frieza there. It's like, so I can't even have him fight the version of Goku that actually beat him. Okay. that damn series. Sometimes I wonder why Trunks never found love. I remember one episode, a fighter was looking at Trunks weirdly. I mean, they don't really care about having love interest for a lot of the different characters. Like, remember Toriyama's way of having a love interest is to just have a time skip. It's like, oh, here's Vegeta and Bulma who have never interacted with each other barely before their son from the past, from the future shows up. And, now they're going to fall in love and have a kid and then fall out of love. And then, that show has probably the weakest romances I've ever seen. Just use a time skip to explain away everything. And that's what kind of sucks that they could have done something really interesting. Because remember how and this is to be fair, an issue not necessarily with. I'll explain this. So originally, 19 and 20 were going to be the main villains of the Cell Saga, because it was supposed to be presented that the present timeline was turning out exactly like the one from Trunks' timeline, but they were changed because the editor didn't like them. It would have been so cool if in 3 years there is no present Trunks. It's just Trunks is a character from an alternate timeline. And that's like the first clue that things aren't the same or are going to be different. Hey, what's up? Will you fight Floyd for 10 minutes? What? It's a shame because it'd be interesting to see how characters bond interacted with their love interest. Yeah, they just have a male and a female who barely speak to each other, if not at all, and then time skip. Oh, now they're married. So that show has the weakest like out of all those different big Japanese series. That's the one with the weakest romances, easily. Oh my god. I'm just gonna have a time skip every time somebody's in love with another person. You know the MCU is like that too, right? Where they like have these time skips that just all this big development happens. They just skip stuff. They're like nobody wants to see that. And that's where the MCU got it from, having time skip romances. They're like, thanks, Toriyama. But Kid Goku turns to Super Saiyan 4 when using a spell. Man, come on, get out of here. And you put LOL in. You know what I'm talking about. That Super Saiyan 4 is more iconic than Kid Goku from GT. People don't even like that show like that form. And they're gonna not have that form, but they're gonna have, or rather, they're gonna have that form as used by a character who is in what, one episode of that whole series, two. I don't know why anybody thought that was a good idea. The Kid Goku annoyed the heck out of me. Super Saiyan 4 Goku was legendary. Yeah, I don't get the. That's why I said developers for this stuff really will drive you nuts because they do things you don't even understand. Hey, watch them have what's that guy's name? The one that, oh, General Rildo. They're gonna have him in there before they have Pan. We can't even get all the members of the Ginyu Force. But we're gonna get 6 Goku. He's the main character. I do like the design of Super Saiyan 4. Man, everybody does. That's the most original, unique looking form out of all of them. Like I said, I would have just preferred they use that instead of all this God stuff. Like keep Ultra Instinct and then give it to characters that are not Saiyans already. That's one of the reasons I don't like power ups in these shows because it's just an excuse for characters that are already stronger than everybody else to just keep having these like bigger and bigger gaps between them and the rest of the cast. You know, they can have that. No, this stuff will drive anybody crazy. Just like they'll give characters that are already stronger than everybody else more forms to make them tougher. Like Super Starts, right? Goku is stronger than every other character. Let's give him a new form. So he's even stronger than the rest of the cast by an even bigger country mile. And then Resurrection F happens. Let's give Goku and Vegeta new forms so they're even stronger than the rest of the cast by another country mile. And then the Term of the Power happens. Let's give Goku another form, and we'll rub salt in the wound by making it something that humans and every other race of people can get, but we're going to give it to the Saiyan who's already got 2 other new forms that make him stronger than the rest of the cast already. It's all that show did was just keep pouring more and more forms on the same 2 characters. That's why I said I got sick of that show. I wonder what is going to be the next power up. I can't wait for Super Saiyan Emerald or some other. Oh my god, that show is terrible. I don't know why that stuff appeals to anybody. And the fans really love those forms. Are like, I wonder if he's going to get a transformation this arc. It's like, It's gonna be the same as every other form. It's gonna be good for like one season or 2 seasons, and then it's just gonna be the same thing. They should have had more on GT with Vegeta's new son. You mean Trunks? What new son did he have? I want to know who is this new son? Got me over here confused. The way people word certain stuff, I'm like, what? It does suck that like with Baby Vegeta, the point I made of like why I wanted Gohan to have that, be the one that Baby picks as his permanent host is because I like the dynamic between Baby and Vegeta. I like that it's the son who's like the last of the like royal bloodline of Saiyans versus the alien parasite who had his whole species destroyed by these people. That's why it sucks that they fuse them together and we don't get to see any interactions between them for the rest of the arc. The other cast of characters just never get any forms or power ups either. Well, that's why I said if in that Dragon Ball pilot I wrote out, there were no forms. It's set in that year period between the Frieza saga and then when Goku shows up with and is like warned by future Trunks of the androids, where it is like just characters using like techniques and abilities. I'd rather that if all the new forms are going to be is just ridiculous excuses to say this person is stronger now, so insta fix. Transformations have gotten so stale. Yeah, Raccoon Birder from Ginyu Force is a must, but nah, just Captain Ginyu and his Milky Cannon. Yeah, I don't understand why they can't put them in there. Because I know a lot of people who really like the Ginyu Force. Like outside of the main villains of Z, they're probably the I'd say the most interesting. They're where they have like they're not just these atypical homicidal maniacs. Like they're there to do a mission. They might as well say Goku is a god. Yeah, he is. We already know that after Battle of Gods. We're just gonna keep giving the same character more and more forms, and then we're just gonna, I guess, get excited for that. I see that Envoy ran away. He left. He's trying to dodge that court case from that woman he stole the picture of. Somebody actually said on in the comment section I was reading because someone had like an avatar of it was some politician. They're like, it's illegal to use her picture for your. It's like, no, it's not. It's a public domain photo. And people have no idea how the law works. Imagine if it really was like that. Like this person's going to jail because he used somebody's picture that they made publicly available on the internet for his avatar. Jesus Christ. Now, I would like to see a Dragon Ball show that's like set in an earlier period of the show because there are a lot of time gaps where we just don't see anything, and you can infer that major stuff might have happened, but it's not alluded to. Because you really think about it, within Super, you don't see most of the past antagonists really mentioned that much, even though they played like a big role at some point. Hello. Sorry, this person was calling me to inform me about something they're doing. But you know what I'm saying? That if we can find instances within the show where a character like Frieza or Cell or Boo or whoever is not referred to for multiple arcs or just not mentioned, it's not hard to believe that they could have fought other major antagonists and just don't bring them up. Going to jail because you have a YouTube profile. Oh, he's about to get yanked. I'm so glad to hear that. 12 years of that clown and he's on his last leg. No, for the Dragon Ball thing, I'll do one episode and I'll see what the response to it is. And then if it's like good, then I'll consider making it a whole show. Or at least a season, yeah. Because I came up with a premise I really liked. Um, I just know that people, they just nitpick everything. That's what I'm anticipating. He's come under a lot of hot water. Well, when you lead an attack that gets over 200 people killed, including the ones you're supposed to be protecting as the leader of the government, then you should get under some water. So his recent scrutiny is well deserved. People are so loud for no reason, I swear. It really is sometimes hard to stream because people are doing stuff where they're like really, just in your ear and it's difficult to concentrate. And you can't hear it, I'm glad, but it's still obnoxious. Jesus Christ. Let me see if it's audible on here. So, oh my God. Okay, you can't hear it. I'm glad. Good. The Lord and Savior has decided to spare everybody's ears. I don't know, every time I do a stream, there's always a couple of common occurrences. Like somebody will call me, and it's usually the same person, ironically enough. And I know they're not doing it on purpose because they don't know I stream. So it'll be that person, then there'll be someone else walking around making noise, then there's people outside making noise. Just one of the many jokes of not living for yourself, huh? Oh, just one of the many perks of not living by your, yeah. It sucks, especially in the pandemic era where like people have any excuse to just be around. It's even more awful. No, it's really difficult to just do anything a lot of times. Like when I want to record for a video, I have to make sure it's at a certain volume. Like I have to balance between, like with that video I did, I had to put the audio 4 times its actual volume because I can't speak louder than, as loud as I would like usually. It's a lot of that stuff is irritating, but it's the worst state that it's in is when you're trying to record stuff for like a show or something, because if you're doing something with action and the character is screaming, unless you just go outside and start yelling, it's almost impossible for you to be able to do that. And they're there all day. They'll be there from like the time you wake up until like 9, 10, sometimes literally just like they're on house arrest. It's crazy. So if these places would actually hire somebody and give them some, real working hours, and like a certain other place that I alluded to, and you could actually find somewhere that doesn't cost an arm and a leg every month, I would go in a heartbeat. Yeah, this is one of the many perks. I really do apologize if you can hear it. I'm sorry. What else was I gonna say? I don't know. I might do another Dragon Ball video. I have ideas, but it's just getting the screenshots and like writing all the script out is what usually keeps me from doing it. I haven't done one in quite a while, so that's what has me incentivized to consider it. Oh, the job situation just as infuriating, I imagine. Oh man, it's like, you know what's even worse? There's this one place I signed up for. Like, you know those websites that are like supposed to assist you with it, and they've for the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days just been spamming me with different emails. Like I'll go on my email, it's all a bunch of red. Like this place wants to talk, then you click it, and it's somewhere that's trying to get you to sign up to fill out an application. So like they're lying to you to incentivize you to click on their stuff and go somewhere else to sign up for something that still isn't a guarantee. So I said it's just a bunch of scams, all these deceptive practices for like the most basic of attention from these places. It's really sad. Look, I'm gonna get off of here. I think I've spoken long enough. Thanks for showing up. If you liked the video, I'm glad. It was a while coming. I just after last week's buffoonery, I just had to give a nuanced position because I put a lot of thought into most of the things I like to discuss. I feel so. Thank you, James. Thank you, Megumi, Zeal, Envoy, the woman photo stealer. Have a good day.